Today we're making grab and go chewy flapjacks, but we're making in half the quantity because I've only got 12 ounces of oats, and I'm sort of twisting it a little bit, and I'm putting peanut butter in because that's Henry's favourite. He's not so keen on in this recipe we have lemon and ginger. So the other day we added some peanut butter and it came out really well. So I'm just showing you that's the recipe. So this one I'm halving all those quantities. Now peanut butter, I know you're all aware, we've actually got this one, it's no added sugar, it's from a very low priced food outlet. You can see there's lots of lovely bits of nuts in there, it's a really sort of stodgy quality. That's not to say you have to use that. We also have, God, look at the state of that jar, this one in. But you can see the difference here. I mean, admittedly this is a smooth one, but it looks completely different, so I think it would change the texture of the flapjack. So we're not going to use that today, but if that's all you have in, give it a go and see. Can't see it making that much difference. So I've got my bowl and I'm zeroing my scales. Now you have to ignore me. I know I'm seeming a bit patronising, but some people that are coming on here have never baked before. Not that I've baked a considerable amount, but I'm just showing people how to do things very simply. So I've zeroed my scales once I've put my bowl in, and that means now that I'm at the weight, the proper weight, rather than the weight of the bowl being added on. So in here I know this jar contains,
it did contain
12 ounces of oats. So that's my dry ingredients. So that's all you need in that bowl. Okay. Oats everywhere. I'm so messy. So we'll put that there. Now all you have to do is very simple. You get your very grotty looking non-stick pan. You don't need a non-stick pan, but this is the best size. And I'm going to zero my scales again. Now you want, this is 6 ounces of local butter, and let me move that to one side. I'm going to cube that, well not cube it, but just cut it up so it melts a bit quicker. So that goes in. Okay. 6 ounces of dark brown sugar. I'm not so keen on dark brown sugar because it's got a licoricey taste sometimes, but it's all we have. So you could use the light brown. I wouldn't necessarily use caster sugar, but if that's all you've got, sometimes you've got to go with what you've got. Davin is clanking his garden clogs.
I didn't realise.
Right, okay, so there we go. And now for golden syrup. Now you can see, my son calls these fat sticks, flapjacks, because there's so much naughty stuff in them. So I'm zeroing my scales and I want 6 ounce, oh, hang on.
I'll double check for you now.
I've checked my recipe.
It is 12 ounces in fact. Oh, you're halving, so
yes,
6.
So 6 ounces, that's right.
Well remembered.
Lost my, so, I don't know if the camera can see, can it?
Let's come over here.
So we just keep twisting this. You can get the squeezy pots, but I just had this one in the cupboard. So when you twist, it says you're having as big a run, and then you just get a knife. So as you can see here, sugar, 6 ounces of brown sugar, 6 ounces of golden syrup, 6 ounces of salted Welsh butter. You can use any butter you have. I have tried to use margarine with these before. It doesn't seem to work. I don't know why. There's a few sort of quirks with this that you think, oh, I'll just throw that in. Sometimes that doesn't work. So I'm actually going to put in as well into the pan. This is 3 ounces of crunchy whole earth peanut butter. Okay, so all I'm going to do now is not put it on a boiling heat. I'm going to put it on a low heat and melt it gently. Remember, this gets incredibly hot. You're dealing with hot sugar, hot butter. This is, when it gets hot, it is scalding. So if you've got young ones doing this with you, you do this part of it. So I'm going to move this over to the hob, melt it down, and be back with you in a second. So keep an eye on this, because obviously you've got butter and high sugar content in here, and you can see, you don't have to keep stirring it, but you can see it's just going in now, everything, and that's on a fairly small, low heat. So there we go, so it's all going in together. And when that's nice and melted, we take it over to our oats. Won't be long now. Okay, so this is it nearly melted down, and you can see there's bits of nuts in there from the whole earth peanut butter. Like I say, you can use any peanut butter, but this just has a little bit more texture. Yeah, it's all melting in. A couple more minutes, and you know, these are fantastic snacks. They don't hang around long in our house. On my recipe, I normally make double the quantity, because if I make some, I give some away to sort of friends and family, a few. Obviously highly calorific, but you have to, you know, you don't want to eat 10 a day or anything. You just have one with a cup of tea. I've never tried to freeze them, so I don't know if they freeze. So this is half the recipe. So this, I'll let you know how many this makes. I would say about 12. Now, there we go. I think we're ready to move across now.
Okay.
Can you see that? It's getting hot. You don't want to leave it on too long, because what will happen is the sugar will burn and you'll just have this awful burnt taste. So this is now ready to go and be added to our oats. Make sure you've got a trivet or pot holder next to your bowl, because this obviously pan's very, very hot. Now, while I was doing that, I've preheated the oven to 150. That's a fan oven. And I think the reason it's on low is so it doesn't burn. So I've put on there cooking time 30 minutes to 1 hour to cover myself, because all ovens are different, but you don't want it a dark brown, you want it a golden brown. So here we go. Now, one thing I forgot was, I remember last time when we changed this recipe, we put in a teaspoon of vanilla essence. I don't think it's going to make a huge difference, but I remember we did that, so I'm doing it again now. So we're going to pour in all that naughtiness in there. Sorry, I should have done it that way. It's quite difficult. Try and get every bit out you can. Let's put that back on there. Now, I can't remember, or I can't find the pan I make these in, because normally I make this big pan, or a bigger, you know, or similar. Now, I can't find the smaller pan. I don't know where everything goes in our houses. Could even be in the garden, who knows. So, I've put this big pan in, and what I've done, I've greased the inside so this paper sticks to it, and I've greased halfway up. It's really important, because I don't think this is a non-stick paper, that you grease, because if you don't, what you'll find is you're picking paper off the wall, and that is really tedious. So I've given them a good grease, and I don't think this is going to fill the whole tin, but it's not the end of the world. Because sometimes when I was younger, recipes put me off because I didn't have the right tin. You just got to adjust, and I think in lockdown, this is what it's making us all do. Apart from all the horror of it all, we're all sort of not being as precise with things. We're making do, trying to make do of, you know, in cooking and in all sorts of ways. We're making do. Right. So all the oats are covered now, you can see there. And it smells lovely and peanutty, and you can just smell the vanilla essence in the background. I've just got a cheap one there because I had a better one and I've run out, and I'm not going to go trawling around the shops looking for one, because obviously that's not good. So here we go. Now I'm going to stick this to one end, because I don't think this would do the whole tin. Now, we did measure this tin. We've lost our tape. We lose everything in this house. School letters. It's like things come here and then they just disappear. So I've got this really old ruler that was my stepfather's, and 14-inch tin by about 9 inch, and obviously you don't need the depth because they're not very high. Like I say, we haven't got any centimetre rulers here.
Yeah, because we're living in the past.
Yeah, we're going backwards. So I can visualise inches better, to be honest, than centimetres. I think I'm just of that era where we grew up with it. Okay. Put that in there. So you can see the mixture's quite brown already, but I don't think, I really don't like really thin, mean flapjacks. If I push this all the way out, they'll be really thin. So I'm thinking I might just take it to about there. Now they're naturally, because of everything that's in them, they spread themselves a little bit anyway, but what I do is just put a little bit of greaseproof paper at the end and it just stops it a little bit. There's probably a chef tip on how to do that. You know, if you've been to cooking school, and you probably know all these things, but I'm just do my own thing and don't research anything. We just go off what we're doing. So I'll find, so you can see I'm almost at that tin. It might spread itself anyway. I know people say baking is a science, and it is. I'm not taking that away. But in this house, it's more like a haphazard thing.
Trial and error.
It is trial and error, and I've still got a bit of butter on, well, spread on there. So I'm just going to pop that in, and it might just stop it, probably won't. Might just stop it moving. I've done that before and it's worked out. Now it's cooled down, I'm just going to touch it and even it out. You don't want it really, really flat, because that just gives you sort of like, almost looks like shop flapjacks. So there we are. So I've got the oven on 150. I'll pop that in, and I'll let you know how long this particular bake takes in my oven. And we'll see, and then I'll do a little section of me cutting it as well, because you really need to let it cool and then you cut. There's a temptation to cut into it straight away and they all fall to pieces. So this is going in 2:45. We'll see how we get on. Smell gorgeous, and we can just, if you want to, you can cut those into small squares or bigger ones. They keep in a tight tin for a fairly good amount of time. I don't want to tell you how long. They're never in this house long enough to be in the tin. I think the longest they've ever been in a tin is 3 days, and then they're gone. So get back to you soon. So here are our flapjacks. That's 45 minutes on 150 fan oven. And as you can see, my little bit of paper held slightly. I don't know if you can see that, can you?
Yep.
So some's over spilched, but generally it's held it in place. You can see here where it would have cracked if we hadn't have put that. And you can see there's a very slight golden brown. It's still quite soft. Okay. You want it to be like that, no browner really. Quite firm around the edges when you sort of poke it. Now this is, if you touch this, I know it sounds ridiculous because it's come out of the oven, but because it's got sugar, it's boiling. So I'm going to leave it on that, in that tin, on that cooling rack for as long as I can really, you know, maybe an hour. Let it cool down. Then I'll take this out. If I take this out now, it all sort of, I could do it actually.
Go for it, Missy.
I know, but it will, I can see if I can.
Well, if I can help you.
Hang on. Let me get another cooling rack. Hang on. This one I should have washed this one really, because it's from earlier and it's got bits of leaf on it and I don't know what. So if I bring that over to there. No, you shouldn't really do this when it's this warm. Hang on. So I'm just going to lift it up like that and pop it, and that will make it cool a lot quicker. So we've done that in one take. rather than having to add it all together. So let's get that out of the way. You can see. Now I'm not going to cut that into squares just yet, because what will happen if I show you, let me see if I can find a knife quickly. It will crumble. Oh, actually, no, it is holding, so I'm going to do it now. Sometimes it all depends. Maybe the peanut butter's making it act slightly differently. So I'm just going to go across like this. Okay, so I'm not marking it out. Now you can see when I go across now, I'm going to do this into 3. If I make it any smaller one, it's this hot, it would sort of break up. There we are. So we've got 1, 6, 12, 18. Not bad. You don't want much bigger than that because these are very sweet. So we've got 18 flapjacks, so let them cool now, because if you pick this up, they're going to be like that. So they'll just all break up out of the ingredients I gave you. So obviously if you doubled that, you'd have double the quantity. So I think for a family and a few given away to friends and stuff, that's absolutely fine. And they smell great. In fact, Henry's been hovering around. But he knows from experience, you know, you've got to let these cool down because we have had a burnt tongue before now. And he was warned. So, yeah, so that is how to make peanut butter flapjacks. And they are chewy. They're not like brittle, as in break your teeth. And remember, as Davin's reminding me, these contain nuts. I know it's obvious because we put peanut butter in. But if anyone in the family's got any nut allergies, it's not ideal. So be careful. These contain nuts because they are peanut butter flapjacks. Enjoy. Thanks for watching.